What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the show. I'm Timmy Foodie. Today we're cooking a chicken, mushroom and chorizo risotto with a bit of whiskey. You'll see that happening in a minute. So what we've got here is some chicken thighs that we're just going to cook in our cast iron pan. A bit of olive oil, salt and pepper. If you don't have a cast iron pan, you can use one of those Pyrex dishes with a lid or an oven tray that you can cover in foil. We're going to put that in the oven on a sort of moderate heat, 150, 160 degrees, and just let it kind of do its thing while we're cooking the risotto. A couple of cloves of garlic, just smash up and peel and chuck in there. Get it in the oven and just let that kind of do its thing while we're doing this. So then we're going to just start the risotto. So get an onion, about half an onion is good if it's a large onion, whole onion if it's a bit bigger. We're just going to do kind of a fine dice on the onion. So as you can see, I've kind of sliced across horizontally, then back the other way, then across the other way like that. It's a really good way to finely dice an onion. So just repeat that and then whack the knife through it a few more times once it's in the pile if you want to get it a bit finer. Get the pan on a kind of medium heat. Get some good quality extra virgin olive oil in there and then get your onions in there, just kind of sweating down on that kind of medium heat. We'll add in a little bit of salt and pepper at this point as well, just to it just helps kind of get things going and add a bit of seasoning right down at the base of the dish. So yeah, get that going. Just sweating gently, move it around. The onions will soften, start going a bit translucent. As you can see, they're going kind of a light golden colour. While it's doing that, you can kind of prep the rest of the veg. So we're just going to get our mushrooms, chop them however you want really. I just done half and sliced back through them. A pile about like that. I mean, it's up to you how many people you're cooking this for really, but a pile like that, it might seem a lot, but it does cook down quite a lot. And then we've got a chorizo. So I'm going to do half initially at this stage, and we're going to just halve it, slice across lengthways, and then cut across into a dice. And we'll get that into the pan with the onions. And then when you do this, it releases all the brilliant flavors and oils from the chorizo, and it kind of seeps through into the onions, and all that kind of paprika from the chorizo comes out. It's just absolutely beautiful. And then just keep cooking down till it kind of looks about like this. That's about perfect. And then what we'll do is we'll get our risotto rice. The choice of risotto rice is up to you. There's loads of different kinds, so whatever you've got is fine. A handful per person is generally the rule I go by, but it's up to you again how much you want to make, but you want at least 3 handfuls in there really though to get it working properly. So at this stage we'll just stir it all around, get the everything nicely coated, give that about 2 or 3 minutes, and then add some wine. Or I didn't have wine, I just had whiskey, so I put whiskey in it and hoping it would work, and it worked pretty well. So stir that around, cook that down, let that reduce down, get all the alcohol burnt off, and it will start releasing a few of the starches from the rice. You want a bit more liquid than that really when you do the wine, but I didn't want to put in like a third of a bottle of whiskey because that would just be extreme. So at this stage, get the initial chicken stock in there, about 3 ladles full initially, get it in, give it a good stir. You want it to kind of do what it did there and bubble quite vigorously, because that helps like release all the starches from the rice, which gives you that kind of creamy texture you get in a risotto. So that's a really important stage. Keep that stirring down on a kind of medium high heat at this stage, just to get it kind of cooking down quite quickly initially. Once it gets to about like that, we'll ladle in a few more ladles of the chicken stock. I think I probably put 3 or 4 in at this stage. And then just let that come back up to the boil, turn it down to a kind of nice, steady, gentle simmer, and just let it do its thing, and just keep stirring it occasionally. You don't want to over stir it really, because you can break apart the rice grains a bit too much otherwise. So just let it gently do its thing, and then it kind of starts to look like this. That was about 10 minutes or so. While that was happening, I got the other half of that chorizo, diced it up in the same way, and fried it off in a pan, just to get them nice and crispy, and then I just put those in a bowl to one side. That's for like a extra garnish at the end really. So so we've had about 20 minutes, 25 minutes at this stage. The chicken's looking beautiful, as you can see. Fish out the bits of garlic that we had cooking in there, and then put them in the dish, squish them up against the side of the pan, and then stir that through into the risotto. That gives you this beautiful, sweet, caramelized kind of garlic flavor. It's absolutely beautiful. And then at this stage, you can just put the lid back on those chicken, or put them to one side and just let them do their thing. Yeah, that chicken was probably about 30 minutes in the oven like that, something like that. So, and then any liquid you get left in that pan, just pour into that risotto mixture. It's It's super concentrated, like chicken flavour. So, and then at this stage, you can add a little bit more liquid, and we're just kind of cooking it until the rice is done, really. So, just keep an eye on that rice and give it a taste. And once it starts to taste done, you know it's about ready. So just keep the water topping up as you're going, and there you go. And then the mushrooms, as you can see there, just real simple. Cook them down with some pepper and a little knob of butter. Fried them off. Really simple. I didn't actually put any salt in because risottos can get quite salty, so you just got to be careful of that. So yeah, mushrooms in there, a bit more stock, let it just bubble away and do its thing, just nice and gently. Once it's about cooked, you can then work on getting the consistency and the liquid amount right. It's about right as you can see it there, but we can fine tune. Finely dice some parsley like I've done there, stick a handful in, give it a little stir around. Then we're going to turn the heat off, get some parmesan in there. A nice handful is about right. Knob of butter. Quite a large knob of butter, apparently, fucking hell. And then turn the heat off, lid on, let it just chill out for about 3 or 4 minutes. It just does its thing. While that's doing that, we can cut up that kind of pot roasted chicken. It's super tender and delicious, and it's kind of like, it's just beautiful stuff. And that's good quality organic free range chicken as well, really important. So slice that up. You could put the chicken into the risotto at this stage, but I like to serve it on top. It just looks a bit nicer and just works quite well. So yeah, slice those up, and then that's how the risotto looks. The butter's melted, the cheese is melted a bit. Again, it's just the residual heat, and then we're going to just give that a stir, and that's going to thicken everything up. And then at this stage, if it seems a bit too thick, what we can do is just add a tiny bit more stock, just to loosen it up a bit. And then if it needs a bit more parsley or parmesan or a bit more butter, which apparently it does because I'm putting a bit more in there because, you know, fuck it, why not? Bit of pepper, just for that final little peppery zing, and give that a stir around, and that's about right to serve. You want it still a bit liquidy because you want it to like settle on the plate. So keep that stirring around like that. Super awesome, unctuous and just delicious and creamy, and you've got the zing from the chorizo and the mushrooms, just beautiful flavour. And then yeah, just plate it up. So you want you'll see in a minute, I probably put about 3 ladlefuls on there, roughly speaking. And then once you've got about enough, or what you think is about enough, just get the plate and just swizzle it around and tap it down. And you want it to kind of sit flat almost. That's kind of technically how a risotto should be, I'm pretty sure. So, and then just, yeah, lay that chicken on top. As much as you feel like eating, really. And then what we're going to do is sprinkle on a bit of parsley and a bit of that chorizo that we cooked before. Do you remember that I put aside? It's kind of got a nice crispiness to it. So that just sprinkles around. It's like, it gives you a nice texture difference, a nice crunch and a bit of spiciness, and yeah, and then just a little bit more parsley. And then what we'll do is we'll just finish with a little fine grate of fresh parmesan at the end, and that's pretty much it. You can do a little squeeze of lemon juice at this point if you want to, or serve a little lemon wedge on the side. It goes really nicely with this, and that's kind of it, really. It's super delicious. Takes about 45 minutes to an hour once you've faffed around a bit, and there it is. Just super amazing risotto dish. Pretty healthy, kind of, if you ignore all the butter, but, you know, not too bad. So yeah, there you go. There's some more videos here. Check them out. Please like, comment and subscribe, and we'll be back with another video really soon. Cheers, everyone. Bye.